Tom Holland finds his next role after Spider-Man. The awards race continues to heat up, especially with Golden Globe nominations being announced on Monday. And Drake has done something that quite possibly has never been done before.
It's all coming up right now on The Take.
Hey everyone, and welcome to The Take. I'm Elizabeth Wagmeister.
And I'm Clayton Davis, and we're here to give you our take on some of the week's biggest stories. Elizabeth, it's mid-December, holidays are upon us. It's good to be with you again.
Always good to be with you, and yes, the holidays are upon us, but guess what else is upon us? The Golden Globe nominations. Big morning coming up on Monday.
The Golden Globes will announce their nominations. The HFPA has been under heavy scrutiny this year after revelations were learned that they had 0 black members. In October, they added 21, 6 of which were black. And now with a full boycott happening across Hollywood, they actually have no submissions from studios. But my reporting has shown that there are some studios going behind the scenes with certain members to ensure some nominations are made.
I love that you plugged your reporting, by the way, because you really are the best in the biz. So tell me, what's the scoop?
So what we have right now is that the HFPA are going to move forward with announcing their nominations the same day as Critics' Choice, but they're going to be doing it with no celebrities. Our own Claudia Eller did find out that they asked Gabrielle Union as well as other celebrities if they would make the announcements, and they are all declining. So they're going to be announcing as is. We don't know what their show is going to look like. It's all been a mystery. But also, they are looking upon what is going to happen in terms of them being invited back.
I think what is really interesting about your reporting is that Hollywood is boycotting the HFPA, but it sounds like there's still some people who want their clients to get this Golden Globe nomination, so they're doing some dirty work behind the scenes. But before we move on, what is in store for the Golden Globes, because it's not being broadcast on NBC. There's no one technically submitting. So what is the show, if at all?
I mean, right now, all they're saying is they're going to focus on philanthropy. We don't know what that means or what will be in store, but the show will take place at the Beverly Hilton. There probably won't be many people there. That's all we know for now, but we're watching the tides.
Yes, we will stay tuned. And also, by the way, interesting person to go out to, Gabrielle Union, who, by the way, has used her platform to talk about toxicity in the workplace, specifically at NBC.
Yep.
Not surprised that she declined that. You go, Gabrielle Union. But moving on to some music news, it was a big week in the music industry. Drake has actually declined his 2 Grammy nominations, and we've got to talk about Adele. But before we get to Adele, there's a big mystery with Drake. So he has withdrawn 2 of his nominations for the Grammys. He was nominated for Best Rap Album and Best Rap Performance. Now, in order to be nominated, the label submits their artist. If the artist doesn't want to be nominated, then they wouldn't submit them in the first place. So to withdraw your nomination this late in the game is very unusual. Actually, our colleague Jem Aswad, who covered this, he says that it might actually be unprecedented. The big question is, why has Drake withdrawn these nominations? And of course, anything that Drake does brings up a lot of attention. So his fans are now wondering, is it because he performed with Travis Scott at Astroworld? There's lawsuits against him, but that theory doesn't quite track because he's performing this weekend with Kanye West.
Yeah, we actually don't know why. Again, it's all speculation, but it's the only award show that actually does this, that allows you to withdraw your nomination and have you not be on a ballot. It may not matter in the grand scheme of things, but as we're seeing court documents with Travis Scott denying that he even knew anything until after the show, it may not actually do anything towards that public perception. People still are going to hold accountability towards the 2 gentlemen.
Yeah, lots more going on there. Again, we'll have to wait for more developments, but let's talk about Adele for a second. No surprise here, but pre-sale for her Vegas residency is going off the charts like gangbusters. In fact, the resale of tickets are starting at $3,000, going up to $35,000 per ticket.
Yep.
I love Adele. I will not be paying that. No surprise that these places like Ticketmaster and StubHub, that people are going on there and trying to get some quick cash off of Adele.
Quick take, I don't love anyone that much to spend that amount of money, but we'll see what happens. Moving on now to award season. This past week, we saw the winners of the New York Film Critics Circle award Drive My Car, the Japanese international feature, their best film, along with Jane Campion winning for The Power of the Dog and director. This week, we also saw AFI announce their top 10 films and television shows of the year. The biggest benefactors there were Netflix and Apple Original Films. This is big because Netflix gets 3 films in there: Tick, Tick, Boom, The Power of the Dog, and Don't Look Up from Adam McKay. Apple Original Films, they get The Tragedy of Macbeth and Coda. On the TV side, it's Ted Lasso and Schmigadoon.
I just want to hear you say that again one more time.
Schmigadoon. Schmigadoon's great. And listen, we had our last premiere this week with West Side Story. The awards race is heating up, but pay attention to what happens this week. Again, we have Golden Globes, we have Critics' Choice. Big week for awards.
This is like your Super Bowl, pretty much.
It's leading up to the playoffs.
Yeah, the playoffs before the Super Bowl. So I'm glad that you brought up Don't Look Up, because that film, of course, comes from Adam McKay, stars Jennifer Lawrence along with Leo DiCaprio. Well, this week, Jennifer Lawrence and Adam McKay, and news broke they're going to be re-teaming. Jennifer Lawrence is going to be playing Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes. So in case you haven't been keeping up with the real-life trial this week, the real Elizabeth Holmes took the stand. Well, J-Law will be bringing that to screen, to Apple. So you'll get to see that soon. But that wasn't the only casting news that broke in Hollywood this week. Some major news: Tom Holland, Spidey himself, is going to be playing Fred Astaire. Now, we all know that Tom Holland, he does have some good dancing skills. Remember, he started on stage in London as a kid, and he starred as Billy Elliot in the West End. So he actually did an interview with our very own Mark Malkin, and he said, "I am ready to dust off my tap shoes."
Yep. Listen, I always knew his performance on Lip Sync Battle was for a reason. It gave us the preview that we needed. I'm excited for him. When I spoke with him earlier this year, he spoke about wanting to write and direct one day. He wants to take on bigger roles. I think this is going to put him into a new level of his career outside of Spider-Man. He's a very talented actor.
He is so talented. I mean, one of the biggest talents certainly in his generation. And whenever you're coming off of such a big, iconic character like Spider-Man, people wonder what is next. So I think this is a great role for him. But I hope that he takes a break, because he is constantly working. And by the way, this film, which is at Sony, is going to be produced by Amy Pascal, who, of course, is also behind the Spider-Man trilogy.
Yep.
So she obviously loves Tom Holland.
Keep on.
Now, some more casting news, pivoting a bit to the world of the Housewives and the Halloween trilogy. Kyle Richards, I broke the news exclusively this week that she is going to be returning to the final film in the trilogy. She is reprising her role as Lindsay Wallace. Now, we all know that Kyle Richards got her start not on the Housewives, but as a child star. Yep. She actually was 8 years old when she was in the original Halloween. We remember Jamie Curtis. She actually babysat her in the film. So this is some big, exciting news and kind of bringing two different fandoms together.
Yeah, and listen, the name of the next one is going to be called Halloween Ends. As we know, horror franchises, they never end. But I will say, hopefully that the film will be able to surpass and be better than Halloween Kills, which was rough in terms of critical response.
But you know what I have to say? It really outshined the critical response, because it was one of the biggest films of the pandemic this year, both at the box office and on Peacock, where it was streaming. So I am sure that the next one will continue to do well at the box office. The first two exceeded expectations. And not to plug my own reporting, but I'll plug my own reporting. You guys should all check out my feature with Kyle Richards that just published this morning on Variety.com. And as always, for the rest of the news, make sure to always go to Variety.com and join us next week on a brand new episode of The Tape.
Thanks for watching.